Hello, good evening. It's a real pleasure to be here today. My name is Senthil, and I'm the CEO for Asendia, Singapore and South Asia. And I'm here to talk about a couple of topics which are very close to my heart: e-commerce logistics and retail e-commerce, and how these two dovetail together, and how companies like yourselves, hopefully, can take advantage of the market opportunities and the said logistics processes to tap into this potential. So over the next 15 minutes or so, I'll be covering a few topics. A quick introduction about Asendia. I'll deep dive a little bit into the retail e-commerce market with some statistics that were taken both from the market as well as studies that Asendia engineered and participated in. We'll talk a little bit about the market challenges and opportunities. I think the world right now is a very, very interesting place, still rife with opportunities, even given an uncertain political or geopolitical environment. And we'll end with how potentially Asendia can support you with these opportunities that are still there. Okay, so quickly, Asendia, who are we? Who do we represent? What do we do? We started in 2012 as a joint venture between La Poste, the French post office, and the Swiss post office, essentially with a mission of transferring the postal know-how and the logistics knowledge of both Swiss Post and La Poste to a global audience, focusing primarily and initially on providing mailing solutions. This has evolved quite a bit over the past 12 or 13 years or so through a series of acquisitions, which has increased our geographic scope as well as our suite of products. So we are no longer just a mailing solutions provider, although that's still very much part of our DNA. We also provide commercial transportation and cross-border delivery solutions, as well as digital solutions as well, through, as I mentioned before, a series of acquisitions as well as organic growth. To provide further context to this, if you can see the box on the right, yeah, we're 60% owned by La Poste and 40% owned by Swiss Post. And we've embarked on a series of acquisitions, as I mentioned. And one of the key ones is a company called eShopWorld, which I'll talk about in one of the later slides. eShopWorld provides cross-border digital solutions to companies and clients looking to go global from a digital website point of view, from checkout options point of view, to delivery options point of view. So we pride ourselves on being able to deliver cross-border physical transportation solutions, as well as a combination of digital solutions in a unified manner. This slide essentially gives you a further snapshot into our global footprint. So we're present across multiple regions in Asia and South Asia, which where I sit. Our headquarters is in Singapore. We have an office in Hong Kong and also presence in Australia as well. Of course, Europe being our home country, essentially, right, or home region, we have multiple offices there. And through an acquisition in 2018, we have a strong presence in the US as well. We bought a company called Glogistics, which has now been rebranded as part of Asendia USA. We've invested heavily in joint ventures and in asset improvement initiatives in Canada as well. We got a large presence in Canada as we speak. So essentially a global company. Our revenue as of 2024 was close to 3.5 billion across the two subsets of Asendia, both eShopWorld and Asendia Logistics combined. Okay, so quickly jumping into it, retail e-commerce. Over the next few slides, I'll be giving all of you a little bit of statistics to give an illustration of where the market is at right now from an APAC point of view as well as a global point of view, where the opportunities still are and potentially how the trade flows could change over the next couple of months, insofar as I can see it. Asia Pacific still remains very much a large e-commerce market. So I won't run through all the points, but you can see them, right? 60.3% in 2024 versus a slight degradation in 2028 as a percentage of the global retail e-commerce sales, with China really powering a large portion of it. So if you look at the economies of APAC, China went through a very interesting stage where from 2002, 2003 onwards, they jumped that whole retail boom straight into a retail e-commerce boom. So the entire infrastructure, the assets, the technology, the digital payments, the government initiatives were all geared towards making China a very, very digitally first, digitally native country, and they've reaped the benefits of that. I think more and more we're going to see China not only consolidate that, but in my honest opinion, I think there's going to be a slight shift with some changes to the so-called status quo. I feel that India and Vietnam, with the advantages of having a very large, young middle class, with the government initiatives as well strongly backing it, and with the geopolitical tensions happening very, very much in our neighborhood as we speak, I believe that the e-commerce trajectory from a retail point of view will slightly move away from just being very China-centric to other countries such as Indonesia, Vietnam, and India taking somewhat of a higher position. But globally, US and China, as we speak right now, are the biggest markets. And there's still a huge opportunity there to take advantage of. Okay, so this slide essentially gives a snapshot into a survey conducted by eShopWorld, the subsidiary owned by Asendia, as I mentioned, an e-marketer, conducted over or to a respondent sample size of 1,000 shoppers, and we asked them what have they purchased, if they have purchased anything online over the past 12 months. Right? So the statistics are quite clear. A lot of people have come back with clothing, footwear, and cosmetics as some of their top purchases, and these categories fits into very much the global landscape insofar as the highest purchase items from an e-commerce perspective. It comes with quite a lot of complexity from a user journey point of view. If you look at the mantra of e-commerce mirroring as much as possible the in-store experience, you're looking at providing the widest SKU assortment in the best visual format so the clients can experience it. Not just experience it, try it on and return it as much as possible. So returns management becomes quite a key facet or key requirement for at least the first two, clothing and footwear. If you want to be successful in the retail e-commerce market, having a robust return solution, both from a digital point of view and from a physical point of view or physical logistics point of view, becomes very, very important. The next two slides basically indicates the global trade flow. So if you can look at the world map on the left and the chart on the right, it essentially indicates where the top countries are in so far as cross-border shipments come from. And this is again taken from data from IPC, which is a source for cross-border e-commerce statistics. China, US, Western Europe are at the top right now with more than 400 million shipments sent across both from an import and export perspective. But as I mentioned, there are countries coming up strongly like India, Australia, and other parts of Southeast Asia as well. I'm quite bullish about it. I don't think they will ever be as well established as China or US are, but I think the percentage of growth will be accelerating over the next few years. So again, this accentuates or supplements the slide earlier. You can see there's a strong flow out of China with very little into China actually, because it's still quite a difficult market to penetrate from an import perspective. But again, I think things will change as we move along. Okay, so what do we see as the market challenges and what do we see as the opportunities in entering new markets? I think it can be broadly summarized into a few categories. One of them is customs complexities, regulatory changes. One of them is taxation. These two dovetail with each other. One has to have a knowledge of the customs regulations to be able to understand what the taxation implications are. And then finally, you've got logistics and shipping issues. That's something core to what we do, something close to my heart, and a robust, efficient, and very pliable returns solution as well. So talking about the customs complexity, especially if you're looking to expand into what can seem to be a intimidating or daunting market like Southeast Asia, APAC, customs knowledge is forefront to everything, right? You need to be able to figure out which products sell well within that native environment that you're looking to penetrate, and whether these set products are prohibited, restricted, what is the HSN code, What is the HS code? Can they be shipped? Can they be shipped in X quantities? These are all very, very important questions which need to be ascertained and determined before one makes an entry into a new market. It sounds easy, it's only 3 bullet points here, but it's a whole difficult exercise, as you can imagine. The second point to this is determining the product, determining the exact HS code, the documentary requirements, whether it's physically feasible to import it, leads to this second portion, which is how much taxation, if at all, there is, right? So that adds to, or that fits into the pricing policy of the products. In many countries, there is a very high de minimis, which sort of makes the import process from a B2C or a e-commerce perspective fairly easier. So countries like Philippines is a high de minimis, USA currently has one, but there are countries which has a very low de minimis, like Indonesia, China, Vietnam, and even Singapore, right? We don't have any de minimis anymore. So a knowledge of all this is very important. Clients, companies have to be cognizant of it and create a product and pricing policy that utilizes all of this to be successful in the market that you want to penetrate. And of course, logistics and shipping costs, this is a key facet to any e-commerce head or e-commerce manager's job. If you cannot factor that in effectively, as well as factoring in the duty and tax effectively into the full landed cost, you cannot price it properly and you cannot seek to earn profits. So again, it's easier said than done. It's to find a combination of a global coverage with local know-how, with the cheapest option versus the degradation potentially in the SLA. It's a tricky game. I mean, you can pay for everything to be delivered as fast as possible everywhere in the world, but that's going to add to your costs. So it's going to have to be a balancing act where people take decisions based on their profile and the demand, as well as the profit margins that the product can take. And lastly, in cutting across the entire presentation, I think returns is, or returns management, especially as I mentioned before, with a pliable, reliable service, both from a digital point of view as well as a physical point of view, especially for product categories that really require it, fashion, accessories, shoes, etc., is extremely important. You need to have that ability to offer that. And in an environment where ESG is on top of everyone's minds, as it is for us, coming up with a solution that is both cost-effective and efficient, such that it leaves as little a footprint as possible, is extremely important as well. So all of this needs to be factored in to take advantage of the opportunities that are there in the market. Okay, the next few slides. How Asendia can help, rather. We have customs clearance expertise, that's one. We have various delivery options, that's two. And we have local language and multi-currency support, and what I feel to be easy to use international return solutions. So digging a bit deeper into that. We have a range of transportation solutions, starting with the postal delivery options that was basically essentially part of our DNA. As part of La Poste and Swiss Post, that's never going to go away. In fact, it is a key facet of everything that we do. We've added the e-commerce hybrid delivery, commercial delivery solutions to that as a supplement to it. And we also have the reverse logistics as another supplementary offering to that. If you break down the transportation solutions that we have the APAC Standard and Plus, which are basically the postal solutions, as I mentioned, the Select, which is the e-commerce cross-border commercial solutions, and the APAC Elite, which is our definition of a integrator express solution. The APAC Returns is a new product that we've launched in 2024. As I mentioned, we have the digital capability built upon the platforms already established by eShopWorld, our technology arm. And we have a large network of partners worldwide that can provide you the ability to pick up shipments locally, store it locally, or bring it back to a centralized hub for your grading and returns and management as well. So we have multiple options, flexible options that span the globe: North America, Canada, Europe, Australia, Southeast Asia, North Asia like Korea and Japan as well. So again, I'm quite bullish about it, quite pleased that we have this solution. It's not easy to do. It's a customized solution, which I think we'll be happy to have conversations with you about. And finally, just a slide about eShopWorld. Not a lot of people know this, but Asendia owns eShopWorld 100%. eShopWorld is a digital services company focused specifically on providing solutions for global clients with the intent of bringing global clients or strong regional players global, right? With a ability to display prices in local currency, multitude of payment options, creating websites, creating customs clearance solutions, creating final mile solutions as well as a return solution. And you can see on the right-hand side, there's a couple of brands that use eShopWorld and Asendia. Of course, not all is shown here. Yeah, but we are quite proud of what we've achieved. So that's it in a nutshell. Thank you very much for your time, and I look forward to spending more time with all of you over the next day or so. Thank you.